Are you following certain criteria? Is the mixed method design identified? What type of design is identified? Convergent, explanatory sequential, or exploratory? Is visual model presented? See, I already told you, try to make a model, try to make a visual diagram, how you approach. First step, this many interviews, you analyze, and then you design a question. And then second step, you did questionnaire survey. Yeah, initially there were few people. Now in second stage quantitative, you might have more people. So you have to show all of them visually. If you are doing conversion, you bring how you bring quail, how you bring quant, how you did analysis, and you converse and produce a integrated result. So you have to show the visual model. I always suggest you to provide a visual model in mixed method design. That will justify you. Is the proper notation used in presenting the visual measure, qualitative, quantitative, sample, all those things are they presented well? That is important. Are procedure of data collection analysis mentioned? Is qualitative explained properly? Is quantitative explained properly? Is analysis approach explained clearly? All those things should be explained clearly for both qualitative angle as well as quantitative angle. So all those procedures should be followed. Are sampling strategies mentioned? As I told, how will be your sampling strategy? If it is a conversion design, what type of sampling strategy do you have? Of course, in conversion design, for example, you apply quantitative has its own sampling strategy we discussed already. Because you use sample size calculator, you use power calculation formula, you use certain sample size formula for quantitative. If you give equal priority, you will ask qualitative question to all. If you give equal priority, you ask qualitative question to all those participants. However, if you prioritize qualitative less, you can take few people from that and ask qualitative question. So in that way, sampling should be explained. Yeah, of course, if you use quantitative, you need to justify sampling number, sample number, sampling strategy, all those things. But what type of sampling strategy I suggest in quantitative? Try to use probability sampling is possible, but sometimes it's not possible. Wherever possible, use probability. If not possible, use non-probability. For which method? Quantitative. However, in conversion design, you can take equal number of sample is quantitative or less. It depends upon you, whatever you prioritize. So your sampling strategy should be explained. And how you do sampling in explanatory sequential design? You do quantitative first. You have a high sample. You use all the sample calculator, sampling strategy, sampling method, and then you have a large sample in the beginning. However, if you do qualitative in the second stage, you take few people from that. So that is the way you do sampling in explanatory design. However, how you do sampling in exploratory? You take few people in the beginning and do qualitative. Now later you wanted to generalize, test with many people. So all those people in the first stage might be there, might not be there, but you will have more people in the second stage. However, in explanatory, you will have many people in the beginning and few subsample from that. So that is the way you have to explain your sampling, sample size, all the sampling strategies need to be explained if you are applying mixed method design. Yes, data analysis procedure for all. For qualitative, quantitative, how you did and how you integrated together, you have to also explain. Either you are integrating at a time or one after other, you have to explain that. Our procedure for validation. Choosing a mixed method project outcome, how you do that. Different terms for this approach, integrating synthesis, quantitative and qualitative method, multi-method, mixed methodology, but recent rising use mixed method, okay? Previously, before mixed method, people used to tell, they say, I am using the integrating strategy, I am using synthesis, I am doing qualitative, quantitative, I am applying multi-method, I am applying mixed methodology. However, nowadays what people write more, they tell it mixed method because they mix it. And we already discussed how we mix yesterday. So reason for choosing mixed method, these are the reasons. What are the reasons? We already discussed this. I'm just showing you in a tabular form. Here you take a different perspective. merging two data set. Okay, for example, how you apply different strategy for different reasons. For example, one reason is your reason is to compare different perspectives from quant and qual. So what are the expected outcome? If your reason is this, what are the expected outcome for comparing? Merging the two data set. How you do that? You merge the two data set to show how the data converge or diverge. You have qualitative data set, you have a quantitative data set. Whether they converge or diverge, you will show that. Whether they are bringing same result or different result. Converge means same result is coming, same output is coming. Divergent means different finding is coming from both. And what is the recommended method for this type? Convergent mixed method. What type of design you are using? Conversion if you have to compare. If you have to explain quantitative result with qualitative data, a more in-depth understanding of quantitative result upon cultural relevance. So in that way, you use explanatory sequential. To develop better measurement instrument, you do qualitative first and then quantitative. So whatever design is this, exploratory. Understand experimental result by incorporating perspective of individual means you do experiment and you collect qualitative from that. So it will be embedded. You are embedding mixed method design. You are applying qualitative in that experiment. For example, you have pre-test and post-test result, and you will ask question why that pre-test and post-test is different. What is influencing those results? If you ask qualitative in that way also, you are embedding qualitative inside experiment. You do pre-test, post-test. However, you are asking few questions, qualitative question to answer why that is happening, how that is happening, what is happening. So on developing understanding of needed change or marginal loop. So in that case, you will use transfer. Sometimes transformative method is used for what type of things? Marginalize, expect, or understanding of change, need change. If you have to understand the change, what type of design you have to use? Transformative type. Because you want some transformation. You want some call for action. You want something different. And understanding need for an impact, in that case, multi-phase mixed method design can be used. So don't understand these things, but understand few things, okay? It's difficult to understand all these things because you are not going to apply now. But this thing you can apply anytime. Convergent, explanatory, exploratory, embedded also you use. Embedded is similar to convergent. However, you are applying one method. You are prioritizing one method less, another method more.
These tables from Creswell?
Yeah, they are all from. For example, how your sampling procedure look like. In qualitative, what type of sampling you use? This is the explanation of sampling strategy in qual and quant, okay? I think I don't need to tell more because you all know it is site specific. You use sampling procedure. In quantitative, you identify site, know the sampling. These are the steps you apply, okay? First, you identify a site. In any study, either qualitative, quantitative, you should identify a site. Where are you going to collect the data? Because we are studying method, you need to understand where is the site. And then you need to know who are the participants. You need to, if you are applying method for quantitative, qualitative, what are your site? Where is the site? Where are the participants? Who are the participants? What is the target sample size? What type of sampling you use? Purposeful sampling or purposive sampling. In qualitative, what type of sampling you use? Purposive. We already discussed that. In quantitative, your site is identified. You identify the participants. You identify the sample size by certain power using the sample size calculator or power calculation formula, and then you do what type of sampling? Probability sampling. So this stage is which stage? Sampling stage. This first stage is which stage? In data collection, you have to identify sample first. So sampling. And after you identify your sampling, why I'm taking both, why I'm explaining both? Because you are using both coil and coil. It is a mixed method, means mixed method is not a separate method to collect data. In mixed method, you collect qualitative as well as quantitative. So both data you need to have, but you have to apply different method for both data. That's why I'm showing you both together, okay? For example, qualitative, you use this sampling strategy, quantitative, you use this. And after your sampling procedure is identified, what you do? You obtain permission and you recruit participants. Once you identify the sampling strategies, you identify your people. You ask for permission, you do institutional review board, IRB you do, and you discuss how you recruit those people, how you will go through, either you will do snowball, either you will do some sort of go through gatekeeper, how you will go through, in qualitative. However, in quantitative, discuss permission, you need to identify the permission. Of course, even if it is quantitative, you need to have IRB, and you need to discuss what are the recruitment strategy you are following. So first stage is sampling. Second stage in method is permission you have to take. We are discussing both together because we are applying both. And third, identity. Now you will identify the data sources. What are the sources of data? You have the sampling strategy. Now, after having all those things, now your data sources. What are the sources of data? Or how you will collect data? In qualitative, what you do? Open-ended interview, open-ended observation, document audiovisual, or identify the extent of data collection. In quantitative, discuss the type of data, instrument, observation, quantifiable record, what type of data you will collect. So third stage is data sources. Fourth one is now you record the data. It's basic, okay? Just I am explaining, comparing both, but it's the basic you have already applied. You all know this because now you record. What protocol, interview protocol, observation method, what are the way you record? You use the interview. You state the interview question to be asked. You identify the recording method, how you do the recording, video, audio, or coil. And for coil, you have the checklist of questions and discuss the reported score for validity. And you have to fill those questions. Or you have to identify all those, you have to identify the survey instrument. You have to identify your interview questionnaire. Here, interview question are needed. Here, what is needed? Survey question are needed. Now, here, what is necessary? Describe who, what, when, where, how long will be the, how you do qualitative, how you do quantitative, how you prepare for data analysis, how you explore the data, how you analyze the data. These are the way. They are the different for both coil and coil. And you need to represent the data analysis, summarize how you represent the data analysis. So they now till here, both are separate. Your quantitative result, qualitative result is coming different because you have to apply all the quality standard of qualitative and quantitative. Now you have to bring that result into mixed method. Always be careful. Whenever you are applying mixed method, you apply all those qualitative procedure, you apply all those quantitative procedure. Now, in mixed method, you need to integrate. So don't forget that mixed method need both quant and coil. Don't forget that, okay? Because you need to apply all quant, all coil standards. Till here, you are applying all those standards. Now your data is analyzed. You have to follow APA guideline. You have to follow this. Now, how you interpret that is important. Okay, now how after that, exploring data, analyzing data. Okay, now another one is now interpret the result now. Another ways you have to interpret data, summarize. Yeah, qualitative you interpret it your own way. Quantitative you interpret in your own way. Qualitative has its own validation standard. We already discussed. Quantitative has its own validation. I am not going to talk about how you validate quantitative and qualitative. You all know there are validity, reliability, difference in both coil and coil. Now we will discuss in mixed method. Okay. Okay, now this is important, how you do in mixed method. Okay, how types of mixed method design, decision, and recommended for data collection. Now you understand that either you use COIL or Quant, you have to apply it from all those steps, from the identifying the sample, sampling strategy, preparing the question, identifying the people, all those ethical issues, collecting data, filtering the data, analyzing data, synthesizing the result. Now you have to bring all those into your design. Because both are different till here, both were different. Now you have to integrate both. How you do that? In conversion design, what are the decisions you need to take in data collection? Will the two sample include different or the same individual? This is the question needed to be asked. Since you are applying quantitative conversion design, sorry, not quantitative conversion design, will the two sample include different or the same individual? If the extent is two, and what is the answer? What is the decision? What is the recommendation? If this is the decision, what is the recommendation for you? If the intent is to compare or directly relate the data set, use the same individual. Listen, okay? They are suggesting, will the sample should be same or different in conversion design? In what case it should be same? If the extent is to compare or relate the data. If you have to compare and relate the data set, you need to have the same sample. If you take, these people have a different view in social science, because we assume that in social and behavioral science, people's view are different. So either you ask A and B. If you have to compare, you have to ask either all to A or all to B. So the sample should be same. If you have to compare, be careful, okay? Comparing means same. However, will the sample be the same size? Since in conversion, and the reality is, in conversion, you try to compare. And if you have to compare, the sample should be. So be careful, okay? Conversion you do to compare or diverse. And if your aim is to compare or diverse, of course, you use the same sample. So always be careful, conversion means same sample. Will the sample be the same size? It depends. It depends upon whether you will prioritize one or the other, or you will prioritize both on the same way or equally. If you prioritize both equally, the sample size should be same. See, consider which option to use and discuss the limitation to the choice. Choosing unequal sample size supports the rigorous application of the two methods, but may limit the merging process. So during merging, there will be difficulty. Choosing equal sample size supports the merging process. That's why choosing equal size is important. So the question is, will the sample include same individual? Yes. If possible, use the same individual. Will the sample be the same size? If possible, yes. But every time, it's not easy to pick up same number of sample per query and you know, because qualitative rigorous in-depth interviewing is not easy to conduct that many. How many you did for quantitative? So be careful, try to make it equal. If not possible, you have to tell it I'm embedding one over other. But you can tell I'm embedding one over other. So will the same concept be explained qualitatively or quantitatively? Create a parallel question. It means if you have to take the same concept, ask same concept for both. In qualitative question also same concept, quantitative question also same concept. So concept should be same. And another is, will the data be collected from two independent sources? Collect independent qualitative and quantitative set from two sources. Yes, sometimes if you can collect data from two independent sources instead of single sources, it will be easier for you to justify. So the reality, the summary is, if possible, you use the same people. If possible, use the same number of sample. If possible, use the same concept. If possible, use multiple participants, multiple perspective of participants, or multiple samples, or triangulation of some people in between that also. Different sources. Take different sources as possible. Don't take the same sources, take different sources, okay? So that is the conversion. So what are the four things important in conversion? Sample, size equal, possible equal, concept same. What is the other thing? Yes, take multiple perspective. And the first one is, yes, same sample size, but if there are same sample size, ask one point to the same people. Sample size same means ask same question to both people. So that is the approach we use. However, in explanatory, will the same or different individual be used in both sample? In explanatory, you do not need. Why? Because individual who participate in the qualitative phase should be individual who participate initially in quantitative phase. However, you should take the soft sample, but you don't need to take whole sample. You should take the soft sample, okay? In explanatory, you have to take soft sample in the second phase, qualitative of the first phase. Will the sample be the equal size? Does it need the same size? No. Why? Because the qualitative follow-up phase has a smaller sample size. Because second phase qualitative, you don't need to take the whole quantitative samples. What? Quantitative result. Now, if you have to take the result, what type of result will you take? For example, if you have to take something for the second step qualitative, what type of result should you take? Answer is, what quantitative result will you follow up? Consider the multiple options depending on the follow-up needed. Example, significant result. If something significant is coming, you ask why that is coming, what is coming, how that is coming. Or surprising, something surprising is coming, take that. If there is, take question related to significant, something significant is coming, something surprising is coming, something outlier is coming, why that outlier is coming, why that surprising result is coming. So that qualitative follow-up should answer that. This is important, okay? In the second phase, qualitative, you take whatever result you will take for qualitative data analysis or collection. Surprising result. What is the another one? Outlier. You know, there is outlier. You need to answer why that outlier is there. Why that person is so rich and why other are not. You have to take those outlier also. Surprising, outlier, and significant. All those things should be taken in second stage qualitative. How will follow-up participants be selected? Now, how to take the follow-up samples? What is the best way to take those follow-up samples in mixed method? Select follow-up participant based on initial qualitative result. If you have to take surprising result, you have to ask to the people who gave the surprising result. For example, some people gave the surprising result, you need to follow them. Why they are giving surprising result? Exploratory design. Who and how many individuals should be included in the, because first phase is qualitative small sample, second phase is quantitative large sample. So what should be done? For the quantitative, use a large sample of individuals who were not the participants also, because you have to take anybody whether they were in the first phase or not. You take 10 people in the beginning, now in the second phase quantitative, you just can't take 10 people, you have to take 100 people. Means yes, those 10 might be included, but you need to take another 90. Sometimes those 10 might not be there. Who knows? That is not mandatory, but if possible, take them also. That is the way. Okay. And how should the follow-up phase for the IRB in this case? How will you do IRB in this exploratory? Describe the follow-up phase as a tentative and find an error. In this case, also do the same. It's tentative, this process is tentative. However, after you have the first phase result, do a random for the second phase one. because you don't know what you are taking for the second step. The reason is because you don't know what type of question you are taking for the second stage until you get the first result. That's why that will be the addendum. If it is conversion, you can do together. If it is follow-up, then you don't know what result will come from the first phase. So that is important. So what qualitative result will you will be used? In this case, what type of result will you take for the quantitative data? Use themes. Because initially in qualitative you have themes, codes, and take those and ask questions based on those. According to your themes, according to your codes, ask question on those. Prepare question according to codes. Prepare question according to themes. Prepare question according to codes. You have to base your question according to your initial coding. And what qualitative result will be used? Yes. In the survey development variant, how do you develop a good instrument? Of course, second phase is a survey. First phase is qualitative, second phase is a survey. How will you apply that survey? How will you design that survey? Use rigorous procedure in skill development. Usually, first phase qualitative, second phase quantitative, you use the skill development procedure. Sometimes you might need to apply multiple quantitative phase. Testing, validating, replicating. If you are doing skill development, you develop the skill, you test the skill, you validate the skill, you replicate the skill. How many phases are there? Testing, validating, replicating. 3 phases are there. How do you convey the rigor of the survey development variant? How do you show that it's rigorous? Develop a diagram or the procedure to convey the multiple steps. If you show the diagram, they will know that it's a complex process. You are applying one after other, it will be more complex, okay? The same individual, decide whether the size of the 2 peep sample will be, these are the output of that table, okay? What are the output? In conversion, you should decide whether the 2 sample will include different or the same. You should decide whether the size of the 2 sample will be same or different. You should decide to design a parallel data collection or process. You should decide whether the data will be collected from independent sources or single source or decide the order. In exploratory sequential, decide whether to use the same or different individuals in both sample. Decide on size for the 2 sample. Decide what quantitative result need to be explained. Decide how to select the best participants for the qualitative follow-up. Decide how to describe the emerging follow-up. You need to do that in explanatory. However, in exploratory sequential design, decide the sample and sample size for both qual and quant. Decide how to describe emerging follow-up phase for IRB. Decide what aspect of initial qualitative result to use to inform the second phase qualitative. So you should decide, this is the summary of the previous, okay? You have to decide all those. And this is the way how you do quantitative conversion. In conversion, how to integrate, what are the integration procedure, how you represent the result, how you interpret the result, how you do in result. Now let's discuss on integration. This is about integration. In conversion design, use simultaneous integration or merging to develop integrated result and interpretation that expand understanding to provide comprehensive result and validate and confirm result. Either the result is confirmed or validated, that is the intention. This is the intention, okay? Either it's converging or either both results are the same or different. Qualitative, quantitative, same or different. That is the intention. So primary data analysis procedure will be obtain result. So what type of analysis procedure you will apply in integration? Obtain result by analyzing quantitative and qualitative data. Look for common concept. Look common concept for both qual and quant. Compare the quant and qual for each concept. Determine in what ways the result confirm, disconfirm or Identify the result. Interpret and resolve differences and use different procedure for data transformation. So you have to identify how common things are coming or different things are coming and why that is coming, you have to identify. However, integrating, develop side-by-side comparison. How you will integrate? Develop side-by-side comparison. I will show you, okay, how you do. So this is one example. How you present point. This is the way you present point result. Now this is the way you present the convergence and divergence. How data is converging, how data is diverging. This is one example. I will show in detail in another one. Okay. This is joint display table. Always be careful. In conversion design, there is a joint display table. What is the joint display table showing? This is the topic. This is the content. This first column is what? How you present the result? This is the content. In tabular form, this is the content. This is the point result. Quantitative result means what? 95% confidence. 70, what is the range? 75, 75. What is the range? -1, -1. -1 plus 1, that is the range. This is the point result. How you are integrating? In one column, you are showing quantitative. In another column, you are showing qualitative. Why this physical functioning? This is the result, quantitative result of physical function. And this is the explanation. All I could do was, this is the explanation because physical functioning during investigation, what is observed? People say that all I could do was to sit in the chair. I could not do anything else. This is the qualitative result. This is quantitative, this is qualitative. See, these are all quotations. Now another column is for comparison, mixed method comparison or diversion. Are they compared or are they showing different? Is there convergent or discordance? In this case, what is there? Discordance. So how it is discordance? Because participant describe affected physical functioning in the diagnosis period, which is inconcurrent to the scores. These scores are not similar to these findings. So this is the way how you present integrating mixed method. In tabular form, it's much more easier, okay? So in tabular form, how you integrate the result? One column there will be topic or concept. Second column there will be quantitative result. Third column there will be qualitative result. You know, quantitative result means there is some data. There is some value. Qualitative result means there is some course, supporting course. However, here you will tell either they are diverging or converging. This is the way you will present in mixed method. This is one example. I have other example as well. Okay. See, this is another example. These are the GPA scores, quantitative. These are the quantitative score you got. CEPT score, GPA score. These are the quantitative relationship. Okay, these are the quantitative variables. However, qualitative results that are congruent and discrepant with the quantitative results. Now here, how this is congruent, how it is different from faculty. This is a faculty perspective. Congruence is there in this case. Discrepancy in this case. Student response, in this case, it is congruence, in this case, discrepant. So you have to show in a table. Point result, and these are the quote result. And also you are showing what is coming same and what is showing different. In the previous table, you are just showing, in this table, you are just showing different result. Before this is congruence answer you are writing. Yes, you can explain in paragraph in this way. In paragraph form, you can explain in this way. See how you are explaining quantitative and qualitative data converge with the result of each. How you write in paragraph. Yes, I show you how to write in table, but how you write in paragraph? See, quantitative and qualitative data converge with the result of each data set or similar. Conversion data analysis reveals that food safety practices mentioned by focus group participants as area of confusion were also reflected as low scoring. See, you can see this is low scoring in quantitative. Focus group also they are giving the answer. And cleaning surface, countertop, proper bleaching method, leftover storage, reheating leftover. The preferred channel to perceive food safety information differed. What was differing? What was same and what was different? The preferred channel to receive food safety information differed between group, but this preference was similarly reflected in both data sets. This is the way you show the convergence. How you show divergence? Quantitative and qualitative data diverge with the data set. Focus group participants reported personal efficacy to cook, store, prepare, purchase food was high, but the mean knowledge score was low. Quantitative was low, however, focus group say they have high efficacy. So this shows the convergent and divergent answer. This is in the paragraph form. This is in the one type of tabular form. In another tabular form, sometimes you can show both convergent and divergent in the same table. So this is the way you integrate the result. Your quantitative, qualitative are all shown. In what way they are, in what way? In what way this score are converging and diverging also, you are showing them together. So this is one way to show joint display table. So the main summary is show it in tabular form, quant in one table, coel in one table, and congruence or diverse result. You have to ask the same question to both parties. Same thing. So be careful while designing question. We can discuss this. If you have any problem, you can continue, you can discuss. That is the reality in theory, okay? But this is what theory tells. In reality, sometimes it might not happen. This is what methodological theory tells, okay? So needful. So these are the example, okay? Low, this is example, okay? For example, low score is here. Why low score is coming? You are showing here. High score is coming. How? What is the explanation for this high score in qualitative? This is the quantitative. This is the qualitative. This is the quantitative low score. This is the qualitative. This is another example to represent your table. See, this is another one. Example of a joint display to describe how qualitative result inform a quantitative feature into. Now this is how you do in exploratory sequential design. Are you applying exploratory? Are you doing qualitative first and then quantitative? This is the approach you use. For example, this is the area you use. These are the methodological format you use. This is the cultural tailoring you use. This is how you intervene. This is how you recruit. So show all those in table. You have to show how you revise that in both area, your area, revision, and cultural tailoring. First you have to show that. Now, in the first phase qualitative, this is the qualitative, this is the quantitative result. Now you are doing mixed method interpretation in this way. For example, Main reported that family members help frequently. And what is the quantitative answer to that? How often do people in your family, including children, grandchildren, help you out? How would you say very often, fairly often, not often? So how you prepare question? This is the way you prepare question. For example, this is the theme you are generating from qualitative. Of course, in the second phase quantitative, you have to develop question. How you develop question for this theme? Your answer, your theme is, what is the qualitative answer you are getting from the first phase qualitative? Main reported that family member help frequently. But you have to generate question to explain that. This is the way you generate the question.
This is for exploratory.
Yeah,
Okay.
because you have to identify the question from this qualitative result. So this is the way you generate the quantitative question. See, how often And what is the value or answer you are getting? Very often, fairly often, not often, or never. So this is the way you use qualitative result and design a quantitative question for your second phase. And what is the answer? Mixed method answer? P value is less than 0.001, means it's significant. Because you did quantitative here, it's significant. Your second phase is quantitative and the second phase is quantitative, significant. Yes, you identify this, you design question, you tested it significant. Now explain the mixed method answer in this way. Not only was it socially and culturally relevant, this is a quite relevant, but it was also found to be statistically significant point result. So charts going African American band in the study for older. This is one example. Okay. So in example, in basic, first your theme will something will come up, theory, some theme, some quote will come from qualitative. You design question with the basis of this qualitative. This is the question you design. You ask question to many people and you identify it. This is the what result? Significant quantitative result. Quantitative only says significant or not. Whether this relationship is significant or not, yes, it's significant. Always answer. What is the intention behind doing quantitative? You just want to test it whether it is significant or not. Whether that relationship is proved or not. So you are getting yes, it is significant. This question is significant, this theme is significant, now you interpret in this way. Yes, they are relevant, but it was also significant. Yes, those theme was relevant. Again, we tested with quantitative, it was significant. So this is the way you write your interpretation. And do you know you are integrating qualitative into quantitative here? Integration is here. However, you are also interpreting in mixed method way. This is the way you interpret. However, you are integrating here. In qualitative, in conversion, where were you integrating? You are integrating here. This is the qualitative answer. The quantitative answer, this is the qualitative answer, and this is the integration here. Now you are integrating them and writing the mixed method answer. Integration was there at the together at the end. For which design? Conversion. Because you do qualitative, quantitative, and at the end you will integrate. However, for mixed method, you bring qualitative, you integrate that qualitative result into quantitative question, and then you interpret mixed method way. So same, men reported that they communicate with family member often and reach out to the family member when they need help. How you define question for this? How often do you see, write or talk on the telephone with family member? Would you say nearly every day, at least once a week, a few times a week, month, at least once a month? So you design question based on this theme. And your variable is significant. And how you merge it, interpret it, not only it was socially and culturally relevant, but it was also found to be statistically significant for older these people. Wherever you ask the question, it was applied for them. Again, men reported that they feel close enough to family member to go with them. And you ask question on the basis of this. How you develop question? How close do you feel toward your family member? So always understand, second phase quantitative means you have to develop quantitative question from your first phase qualitative result. If you are doing what? Exploratory. And the result is significant, quail response. So in this way you are showing how you are applying that. This is explanatory sequential, okay, over here. This one is explanatory, I will show you, okay. So example of a joint display table for explanatory sequential design. For example, codes related to this relationship characteristic in clinics with high and low WRF score. For example, this is the way you integrate. Okay, if I show it, it will not show full. So I'll not show it. Okay.